every ancient spiritual tradition, whether it is Shamanic or Zen or Hermeticism or Daoism, has understood one thing, and that is that the mind can be used as a tool or a trap. If we don't learn to master it, we can get stuck in these endless loops of overthinking. But when we do learn to master it, we can actually use it to access higher states of consciousness and get into flow states. So in this video, I'm going to be taking you through 5 ancient spiritual techniques to help you to quiet the mind, stop overthinking, and get into a higher state of consciousness. I was planning a video about overthinking and I just couldn't stop overthinking, ironically. And so I thought I'd start the video off by saying this, because it's not your fault. Just to let you know, you are not alone. If you are stuck in these loops of overthinking, you are not alone. This happens to all of us, most of us. I mean, maybe not Jesus, I don't know. Maybe Jesus did, but I'm sure Jesus did actually deal with this as well. It happens to all of us, and there are many different spiritual traditions, ancient spiritual traditions, that do agree on certain things. And I'm going to take you through some of these today, and I absolutely love to do these spiritual practices. They really help me to get out of the mind. Just to introduce myself, my name is Amy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment if you want to get involved in a little conversation. I'd love to hear your experiences. What kind of spiritual practices help you to get out of your mind and into the present moment? But let's jump straight into the video. The first tip that I want to talk about, and the first ancient practice that is spoken about across so many different ancient spiritual traditions, is to get into your body. Many different shamanic and indigenous traditions emphasize grounding through direct contact with the earth. In Daoist energy practices, they talk about how overthinking is seen as an excess amount of energy stuck in the upper chakras. So what the solution would be is to bring that energy back into our bodies and into our lower chakras. You want to really balance out the chakras. So by feeling your feet on the earth, or even hugging a tree, or pressing your hand on a tree, or just standing up against a tree, can be really good for grounding into the present moment and connecting with the earth. Another great spiritual practice to get yourself into the body is dancing. I love to dance. It was just last night actually that I went out into my little meditation room, my little space, and I just danced for an hour or so. Many people in ancient spiritual traditions have used ecstatic dance to get into trance states, whether it is the shamanic traditions or the Sufis also had their own type of dance where they would do whirling movements to get themselves into their body and get their energy circulating into their body. And this can actually bring you into a trance state. That has actually happened to me before. I was in my bedroom dancing around, and I was dancing for a few hours. It got to the point where I was actually in this like bliss state where I just felt like I didn't want to do anything else. I didn't want to stop. I just carried on going and carried on going. And I started to go into a trance state. And that was really cool, and it was really relaxing, and it helped me to really increase my vibrations and feel better. Dance is also spoken about in the tantric tradition. So in Hindu and Tibetan Buddhism, they use dance as a sacred practice to unite the body, mind and spirit. So as you can see, dance is something that is spoken about across so many different traditions, and it really does help. So if you want to try that, definitely do try that. Let me know if you try it and how it goes for you. One of my tips when you do this is to start off with small movements and just really feeling into the body, whether that is moving your body in circles and just doing a little movement, and then just see how you feel, see where you want to go, and see where your body takes you and where the music is kind of inviting your body to move to. And guys, I'm curious to know, have you ever tried dancing and moving your body to free your mind? What is your favorite way to reconnect with your body? Let me know in the comments below. The second ancient spiritual practice that I'm going to mention in this video, and I had to add this in here, is to meditate. So meditation is spoken about across so many different mystical traditions, whether that is Zen Buddhism, the Kabbalah, the Tao. Mystics across cultures have understood that silence is the gateway to higher wisdom. So when we meditate, we clear the mind, we tune in with something, whether that is something external or something internal. Meditation isn't just about relaxing, it's about entering the space inside, the void, and the space in between thoughts. And this space in between thoughts is where true knowing and true intuition can actually arise from. The more that you practice stillness and the more that you practice meditation, the less power your thoughts have over you. In Zen Buddhism, enlightenment is found by sitting in stillness and dissolving identity into emptiness. And when we say identity, we mean what is it that your mind is identified with. And if you've listened to any of Eckhart Tolle's teachings, he speaks a lot about this, how the mind gets identified to beliefs and our self-concept, and it can get identified with the present and the past. But when we sit in stillness by practicing Zen meditation, we are dissolving that identity. And I just wanted to add in as well that in Buddhism, thoughts are seen as passing clouds in the sky of awareness. So you don't have to stop your thoughts, you can just observe them. And as you watch and observe them, the less that you engage with them, the less identified and attached you become to them, and the more quiet your mind becomes. Have you ever tried observing your thoughts, and did it make you feel more peaceful? Let us know. And the third spiritual ancient practice that I want to share with you is to engage with the senses. This is a really great way to get out of your mind and get back into your body, and is spoken about across so many different ancient traditions like Sufism and Tantric Buddhism, even mystical Christianity. The Sufi mystics believe that by fully experiencing sound, movement, and sensation, we can enter divine presence. You can try this right now. Just listen to what sounds there are around you, whether that is birds that are singing outside, or the rustling of the leaves on the trees, or cars going past. Just try it now. Just tune into the sounds that are around you. And then feeling any sensations that are on your skin, maybe feeling the warmth of the space you're in, the wind, the air on your skin, or maybe feeling some clothes that you're wearing, the texture of the clothes, maybe doing a little bit of aromatherapy, so smelling whatever it is that you've got that you can smell, and really paying attention to how you feel when you do this, and taking in that smell as fully and deeply as you can. The Sufi mystics practice this whirling dance, and through the power of music, using their senses, their hearing sense, to enter these trance states and really start to escape the analytical mind by getting into their body, by really tuning in with the music. Within Buddhism as well, getting in tune with touch, taste, and sound is a way to heighten awareness. Christian mystics spoke of experiencing the divine through colour and music and nature. See how everything is so linked? And the fourth ancient spiritual practice that I'm going to share with you is the thought alchemy ritual. And this is where you write down all your thoughts, you journal your thoughts. And this is spoken about in many different mystical traditions like Hermeticism and Egyptian alchemy. The ancient Hermetic tradition teaches that thoughts hold a certain energy, a vibrational frequency, and this can be transformed through ritual, writing, and sacred intention. In ancient Egypt, scribes were seen as spiritual alchemists, transforming ideas into reality through writing. In the Emerald Tablet, which is a core text of the Hermetic wisdom, it is spoken about transmutation, which is shifting energy from one state to another. So when we journal, we are bringing our thoughts into reality. We're actually manifesting them. This is a form of transforming our ideas into reality through writing. And there's another tradition that I can't remember the name of, but they teach that writing something down actually externalizes it. So removing its hold over the mind, when we actually get it down onto paper, we can actually stop that flow of identifying with it, the cycle of identifying with it, and get it out. so that we can observe it better. The ancient alchemists knew that writing was a form of energy transmutation. So when a thought stays in the mind, it loops endlessly. But when we can write it down onto paper, it is released into the physical world. And this really like frees up our mental space when we're able to do this, and we can kind of filter our thoughts and choose what to do with them better. So next time you're overwhelmed, write everything out without judgment. It doesn't matter how negative it is. It doesn't matter what comes out. Don't judge yourself for whatever comes out. Just write it all out and then see how you feel after. And this can be your personal thought alchemy ritual. And the fifth and final ancient spiritual practice that I want to speak about today is knowledge fasting. And I find it quite funny that even ancient spiritual traditions used to do this in a time where there is absolutely more knowledge available than there ever has been with the rise of the internet and how we have so many devices constantly. I know for a fact that I can get really overwhelmed with the amount of information that I'm taking, especially if I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I can really feel it in my body and my mind. And we have to remember that when we take in information, we have to process it after. So it's really important to not overwhelm ourselves. And many ancient wisdom traditions didn't believe in consuming all knowledge, but only knowledge that was spiritually aligned. And interestingly, in Egyptian mystery schools and in Hermeticism, initiates were only given certain teachings at certain points so that they wouldn't overwhelm their minds. And this is a really wise thing to do. And it's also important for us to make sure that we are going inwards for our guidance. And this is spoken about in Greek mysticism. Silence is practiced to develop inner knowing instead of relying all the time on external knowledge. Many spiritual traditions understood that taking in too much information can cloud up the mind and keep people stuck in lower consciousness. And you might have heard of the Buddhist Vipassana meditation, which is where monks will go into silence retreats and quiet their minds so that they can detach themselves from external noise. And you don't necessarily have to do this. Obviously, if you're feeling called to do a Vipassana, by all means, be my guest. But you don't necessarily have to do this right now if you're struggling with overthinking and you've noticed that you actually maybe have taken in too much information, or you need like a little bit of a digital detox. You can just find a quiet space, and instead of doing what you would usually do, whether that was watching TV in the evenings, watching YouTube videos or reading or whatever it is, just taking some quiet space and trying some of the other practices that I spoke about during this video. A little bit of dance, a little bit of breath work can really help us to create this pattern interrupt so that we are allowing our minds to process the information that we've already taken and bring ourselves back to this state of equilibrium and this state of peace and stillness, where we can really listen and hear the wisdom of our internal guidance that comes from that place of stillness. Sufi mystics, yogis, and shamans all emphasize periods of disconnection from worldly distractions so that we can tap into our higher wisdom. And this is really what I'm talking about here. And isn't it so interesting that so many different ancient spiritual traditions talk about this? It's funny because when I realized I needed a digital detox, I was resisting it a lot because I was having all this resistance to, I was feeling very clogged up, very overwhelmed, and I was resisting that overwhelm by watching more videos and taking in more information. It was like I was trying to escape it by trying to find that next bit of spiritual wisdom to help me. But I didn't need to do that. When I sat down and quietened my mind, I realized that actually what I needed was just a break from the digital stuff and some time and space to get into my body, do some dancing, do some stretching, and I felt so much better. And now I'm back creating and I feel so much better. Which one of these ancient techniques do you feel called to the most? Let me know in the comments. I would love to know which one is resonating with you the most. If you need a guided meditation, check out my other videos. I have a few different guided meditations that you can use. But for now, have an amazing day. Peace, namaste, have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.